This is Warface Breakout. We're on Xbox Series X. The game is retaining the Xbox One X enhancement. That means we're getting a 4K resolution, 60 FPS, and also HDR support, which is kind of nice to have within the game. So if you're not familiar with Warface Breakout, this is an interesting competitive split off from the game of Warface. I initially thought that this was just merely like an update or something, or a new release for, Warface, but yeah, it's actually really its entirely own thing, which is kind of neat. So what you're getting here is essentially a take on the Counter-Strike formula of play, where you're doing like this round-based combat, you're switching sides, attacking, defending each round, and you're buying weapons in between rounds. There's casual and ranked play. Ranked play is obviously a bit more competitive in regards to the style of the round setups and everything like that, and then casual is a bit more easygoing. That aside, it's actually quite well done. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I did feel it was a bit light on content, but they've added to it with seasons. I think they're on season 3 at the particular time, which is a bit of a cold frosted one, but anyways, it's actually quite well done. I like it. Oh wow, I got blown up by my own bomb. That's a little bit disheartening, but yeah, it's kind of a neat game, again, with a lot of different variants to it. Now there are loot boxes in the game that you can get, and that never sounds good, but you can actually, they're just decorative items. That's really all there is to them. They're just decorative selections that allow you to change the look and the style of your fighter, your soldier, upon the two different factions, changing your emblems and stuff like that. So, and you get them pretty often. I haven't noticed that they have any impact on actual gameplay, because in games you're just kind of earning cash each round in order to buy better weapons and stuff, and then every match it resets. It's completely different. But yeah, I think this is actually quite a well-done experience. I did like it. Oh, that was a terrible grenade throw. I thought it was fairly competitive in terms of its style and its focus, and it's actually pretty quickly paced. It kind of reacts well in terms of movement and strategy and communicating with other players. It feels really intense, as you can die, really quickly, and you only get one life per round too, which just means, every single moment and shot kind of really matters when you're playing, and I think that's kind of well done. Again, kind of a surprise, because I didn't check it out immediately at launch, because I thought, again, that it was just some kind of update to Warface. That's why maybe they shouldn't have taken the same name. I guess they were trying to go for the brand recognition in that regard, but yeah, I think this one might have carved out a little bit of a niche for itself, just in regards to the gameplay style. Again, I find it quite fun and engaging. It's definitely a different sort of experience and take on the franchise. It's basically, they took the core gameplay mechanics of Warface, and they actually, really cleaned it up, added a lot of neat features, really kind of improved the scope and the design of the experience, and it just feels a lot more sleek to move through it and battle. It's got like a little bit of a futuristic edge to it, and if you're wondering why we don't have good weapons, it's because this is the beginning of the fresh sides. We just changed perspectives, now we're defending, and it goes up to so many rounds. So it very much plays like Counter-Strike, if you're familiar with that type of game, and I think it's actually got a really good selection of maps, and now a decent amount of content that they've added to it. It just kind of looks pretty good. It feels pretty good. I think they really genuinely did actually put together a solid shooter that is just fun to play. I don't know, I've had quite a bit of fun with it. A surprisingly large amount of fun with it. I played quite a bit of this when it released, so I've kind of just been waiting to show it off again. But yeah, it's definitely a good one to highlight. I totally dropped the ball on that one. Took way more damage than I dealt in that situation with the pistol, which is totally fine. But yeah, you can like just die really, really quickly, and I think that's a lot of the fun of this one too, is the fact that you can get shot up in just seconds, and well, they got the bomb detonated there, and there's all this like kind of meta strategy, and you gotta be smart of how you're doing things. You want to play defensively on the attack? Do you want to rush, get the bomb in there? There's just lots of different ways to kind of compete and battle one another, which I think is kind of exciting. It's just, yeah, it's a good game. I did honestly enjoy this. It's nothing too complex. It's very straightforward in what it's trying to provide, and I think it does a proficient job of doing so. It's a neat direction for the series to take. I didn't think that this would be, kind of what they would go with in regards to a follow-up to Warface. But I'm actually kind of glad they did. I hope that this one has found at least a decent bit of a niche, because I think it is actually like a great competitive multiplayer title, and I love to see, different types of multiplayer games kind of like this, because it's just nice to have a good variety. And I mean, it's sleek enough. It seems to have performed well the whole way through. I was very happy with it on the One X, and now the Series X, obviously, again, no issues with it. And it just offers a lot of different kind of competitive settings for battling with others and against others, and I think that's kind of fun. And then, of course, the variations in the maps and the styles. And it's a very set game. I think that's another thing to keep in mind, is that this isn't trying to be some kind of expansive all-around sort of shooter. It's got its mode, it's got its gameplay style. Oh, I can't believe I got killed by that guy too. A little embarrassing. Maybe I should have flanked around. But it's got this kind of intricate set gameplay style where you are just battling and trying to win using the different weapons and stuff that you get. That you kind of buy in that. And of course, obviously, this is just a casual match. I figured it'd be easier finding players at this hour. It seems to still have like a healthy community to it, so that's good. And then on top of that, if you want to play the more intense mode after you learn it a bit, you jump into ranked, which was fun too. I think I was just missing a few achievements. Like, I actually think I did pretty well in regards to playing this one and actually getting stuff, because I was having fun just playing it as a multiplayer game. I like these competitive setups, and I think it's nice to have this kind of option on the console, because I think that maybe is the big thing, right? Is that there's not necessarily something that fits into this type of niche, I suppose, on the platform, at least today. And I think that's kind of a cool option, just to have this type of game out there. And I hope maybe I kind of introduce this experience to more people, because I did really find it to be quite interesting. Okay, looks like we've got to go over there and get shot in the back. But yeah, it's got a good sense of space, and a good variety of like environments. I actually really like this map. I think this one might be one of my favorites. But the setups that they've done in this game, I think, are really quite interesting, and a really good balance of competitive play and strategy and stealth too, right? Like, and how you're dealing with enemies and battling along here. Like, see, we've got the disarm there. I was able to get the big clutch in. But yeah, it's just kind of a fun, well-said game. It feels balanced. It's very straightforward and to the point, and I think an easy enough going experience where you can like play this and have a good time with it. And then of course unlock a lot of different cosmetic elements in order to mix up the experience further. If that's the direction you want to go with it, it's totally up to you, of course, right? And then you can buy extras, and it's a neat balance to find between using the different weapons and stuff in the game as well. What you like most. I tend to go for more of the SMG, so I could be a little bit more fast, but there's some achievements that were like really sniper focused, so I had to try that out a bit. It was just neat because I hadn't really gotten that fully captured by a shooter game like this in quite a while. I think I picked up someone else's gun, and that's what I'm using right now, so that's kind of great. Oh geez, I couldn't actually. I was wondering why there was something stuck down there, and yeah, very clear red guy kind of going up. But yeah, it's got a neat level of like spectating to it, and I think as like a competitive type game, it actually does hit a certain niche part of the market, and I think most of it's going to be down to like discoverability of this title and what it has to offer, because I think there's a good amount here, and the seasonal stuff to kind of get to. It's just kind of well set, kind of fun, and again quite competitive, because you can get injured really fast, and then the entire game can change really quickly. Just keep in mind for player sizes, again, that we're pretty late hour, and there's also the ranked option, but we're actually getting like a good set match here, I think, and that's kind of a good sign of at least what I believe is a relatively healthy community size, a good indicator of it, because it again is like really late early morning when I'm jumping into this playing. But yeah, it looks smooth, it plays well, it handles good. I think this is a kind of a well done title. It hopefully surprises people if they've never heard of this one or seen it before. It might give you something that is of interest for trying. It feels really tactical because you can, you know, kind of be quick, or you can take your time. Maybe I should stab that guy in the back. That might have been cooler, but you know, you never want to give yourself away. And it's so like really strictly set to for the movement, which I think is kind of neat. Like you really have distinct paths that you can kind of take to get places, so you can really do cool choke points and stuff like that. And if you do communication, it adds an extra layering of sort of discussion and movement and tactical play with your team, because this can, you know, it feels pretty tense. You know, you get to some of those really competitive late rounds where there's like one or two players here or there. It makes all the difference whether or not you're able to, you know, fully win and everything. It feels quite competitively well done. And I think we should be getting closer to victory. I just kind of want to show off the full scope of the match at least. But you also get like really cool, I don't want to say totally sci-fi kind of locations, but the backdrops and the futuristic style definitely do range quite a bit depending on the level you're playing. Like there's this deserty type map that I thought was like kind of Mars-ish, but I don't necessarily think it fully is. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to have these different options and different map layouts and stuff. I think they've got a varied selection that really do feel, you know, very different from one another. They're not the same at all, and I think that keeps it fresh as you're battling through it. And then, yeah, that was my main thing, is it's just very straightforward in its content. It's limited, but I think it's something where you can get a lot of replayability out of it, if that's your sort of style. Did we kill them all, or? Yeah, we did, okay. Yeah, it goes quite a bit of rounds, and then of course the ranked section is just like even more kind of intense. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this look at the game as being something a little bit different, and I think it might be worth jumping into if you've ever been curious, or maybe even hadn't heard of this title before, because I think it's pretty good. See, look, I'm pretty ranked up and stuff, and then you get all this cool things, and all these cool things you can unlock in that.